Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are now live on YouTube, X, and on our Rumble channel. Our Rumble channel, we actually started back in like the pandemic time or a little bit afterwards. I don't even, how long has Rumble been out? I don't even know. But we started the channel, put a logo up, and kind of just did some auto posts from YouTube over to Rumble when we first started there. So there's not much content. There's some stuff that we've done over in our YouTube channel that we really primarily been focusing on for the past few years, but that is about to change. We're moving our content over to X and to Rumble, and obviously moving away from Facebook and Instagram and YouTube so that we're not censored and dealing with all the BS that comes along with those platforms. But my name is Jamie from T4 Survival. I'm here with Ed. Say hello, Ed.
Hello, how you doing?
Mike.
Right.
And David.
Hello, everyone.
I feel like I should have had a drum roll for David. I don't know.
That would have been really nice. I was waiting for it.
It would have been appropriate.
Yeah, so David's now in his new shop.
Yes.
You can see in the background there, Kydex Holster Solutions is the name of his company. Makes all the holsters for us and all the instructors, and phenomenal work.
Yeah.
So KydexHolsterSolutions.com if you need a custom holster, and he'll get you taken care of, and remarkable work. But we talk about that all the time. All right. So guys, where are you and what's the weather like? Ed, what you got going on there?
It's cold, and it's going to get
chilly.
cold.
I don't want to hear shit about
It's
cold.
crisp.
Yeah, I know. We get your posts every morning. I see them on X. I like that cold, crisp air, though. I really do. I just don't like the wind.
No, the
Oh,
wind's rough. We've had some rough wind the past few days.
Yep,
Yeah.
12 degrees right now. Feel like temperature is 0, and the winds are definitely picking up. But
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
our-
heat wave.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a heat wave. Actually, it got up to like 20, 22 degrees, and when I was like, wow.
You're
it's
only
phenomenal.
about 10 degrees cooler than us. I mean,
Yeah.
it's down here. It's chilly. I mean,
Well,
I think with the wind, the chill, it was like 17. It's cold.
So anyone that's joining us now on our live stream, we're going to dig in about 30 seconds or so. Feel free to say hello, put in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, X, or on Rumble. The chat will come through on our end. And as we're going through this evening's segment, feel free to ask questions because you guys are co-hosting this with us. So as you have questions for us or you've watched some of our content and you have questions, please put them in the comments, ask away, or you could just say something nice about Ed's mustache or
yeah.
something like
Coming
that,
in
or
nice.
or David's shop, or this real nice bottle of alcohol I have behind me that is empty now.
Oh,
That was from
lovely
last camp.
grenade behind
Yep.
me. I have really nothing here.
That what was contained in that bottle was very, very, very good.
Yes, Big Jim
Didn't
brought
last
that
long.
as a gift, and that was great. We'll
salute
talk
to
about
Big
camp
Jim.
in a few minutes too. What was
Yes.
that, Ed?
A big salute to Big Jim. That was
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about some current affairs and things that are going on. And one of the big ones is going to be the confirmation hearings that are going on. And we'll talk about the Hamas and Israel ceasefire. Let's first talk about the confirmation hearings. You guys watching them?
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
some
bits and
I've seen
pieces.
A little
parodies.
bit here and there.
Yeah, it's just they're getting grilled. They're getting grilled hard, and I love seeing like Pam Bondi today fed it back to them quite a few times, especially Schiff, which was great to see. And I guess I have a question. Any of the ones that on Trump's list that you don't think should be confirmed? Is there anyone there?
No.
Anyone
Not at all.
questionable? You don't think so?
No.
If you guys are watching us right now and you think that there's someone on that list that you have questions about or not sure if they should get confirmed, I'd like to know. So put it in the comments for us. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'll be happy to engage that conversation. But what's your argument if that's the case? If you believe that, I just want to hear it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And
I'm
some
happy to
people
have
have
a conversation with somebody. Just don't want to be screamed at.
Oh yeah. No. And it's a conversation. It's not about knocking you down. I like to hear both sides
Absolutely.
and educate myself. That's what it's all about, right? That's what we used to be able to do years ago, and we've kind of gotten away from.
And
So
that's not occurring at these hearings though.
No.
No.
I mean, no.
It's
Real
it used to be both sides asked questions way back when statesmanship was still alive. Now it's almost like one side grills and then the other side throws a bunch of softballs.
Yeah.
Makes jokes. There was one. I think Kennedy said something today. He goes, "It isn't America. It's." He goes, this isn't a place where the Powerball winner wins 327 chickens and 4 camels or something like that. Like he made some kind of comment like that, like it's not a third world country. I was shocked he said it in the Senate. I was like, holy crap, that's I mean, he was just like Kennedy was on fire today. I was like, I watched a bunch of it, but that's what aggravates me because I got a political background. You know, I mean, I was in elected politics for years, and I see what they're doing. It's like there's no statesmanship anymore. It's just
Right.
both sides. It's just bad.
It's really bad. So it's interesting how the next couple of weeks. Well, what I thought was interesting is that I looked up Kash Patel because he was brought up a lot during the Pam Bondi hearings today, and to see when he's supposed to be having his hearing, and they're saying it may not be until February.
Yeah, he's not high on the list there. If you looked at who they're putting in, he's not a cabinet member. You know,
Right.
so
Huh. Okay. Well, so let's talk a little bit about the brokered deal today that that happened between Israel and Hamas. Have you guys heard about it? Have you read the update on it?
yeah,
No.
who's taking credit for it?
Well, who's taking credit for it? Probably the person that shouldn't be. I know that Trump was talking about the brokered deal for a while, and then Biden came out this afternoon and said that they brokered a deal. So I don't believe that one bit.
No.
I do believe that they were probably involved or sitting at the table just because they're the current sitting and the new administration's coming in. But let's be honest here. The only reason why this actually happened was because of, the Trump administration that's coming in.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know. The Biden administration's got a hell of a record on great statesmanship overseas. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that
Sure do.
enough, or
No, but didn't somebody in the State Department credit Trump's team or Trump for part of that deal? They
Yeah.
give
Oh,
him-
he did.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
in fairness, I think I don't care how they arrived at a ceasefire. I'm glad they did.
Right.
mm,
You know, I honestly, who gets credit? Who gives a damn, really? Anyways, in all seriousness, I
Right.
mean, I'm breaking jobs. The reality is, I'm just glad that the killing's gonna at least put on pause. It'll never stop.
It will never stop, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
for sure.
point. We all
That's
have
for sure.
close friends over in Israel, and our hearts and thoughts are with them always, and stand with Israel. But it's not going to end, and something is going to need to happen. But at least getting some closure for some families and getting some of the hostages back, I think is important. I guess this first round that's supposed to happen, that it's just going to be women and men that are hostage that are over the age of 50, and then teenagers and younger ones that are going to be released. Any military age men or women are going to be held for the second phase. What I thought was interesting is they were discussing about releasing the some of the Palestinian soldiers back over to Palestine. So what's your thought on that? Like, should that happen? Should it not happen? Or why do you think it's happening? Because I have a theory on that, and I'd like to hear what you guys think. Ed, go ahead. Take it.
I don't even know. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what to add to that because they're playing such 4D chess over in Israel right now. I mean, blown up beepers. I mean, that's pretty creative.
My feeling is that they don't give a crap about them getting sent back over because they're going to know who they are, where they are, and what they're doing. And at a moment's notice, they can reach out and touch them. So my feeling is, all right, yeah, you can take them back because we want our hostages back. And then they'll follow up afterwards. That's my feeling.
They may have chipped them for all you know.
Because that's a good point. Yeah. Imagine that phone call coming through. Just like
Yeah, there's a lot of people you screw with. I don't think the Israelis are one of those
Yeah.
people you should do that with. But to each his own.
Yeah.
Agreed. The Israelis and the Trump administration are probably two people that you don't want to screw with.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah,
as
so-
we're- go ahead, David.
Yeah, I was going to say, so the negotiations for the second phase to end the war are supposed to start tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
See if it happens. Let's hope it does.
so yesterday at the hearings, they were talking a lot about should waterboarding be allowed or not allowed, and all of that. And he was very adamant in saying that our war fighters need to be able to have there's rules of engagement. We all know that. There's a Geneva Convention, but Palestine and these terrorists are not following that at all. I mean, they've taken babies that were just born when they came over on October 7th, and what they were trying to get across, and I don't understand why people can't think this through, is that you're dealing with these terrorists that don't give a crap and have one goal in mind. In order to fight them appropriately, you can't fight a conventional type of war. So the war fighters, the guys in the lead, need to be able to have that discretion or lead to say, do what you need to do to get the job done. And I think that's important. And the way that they were slandering that and ripping it through the mud yesterday was disgusting because, I always say when we train Krav Maga and we train our classes and we do law enforcement training or we do military training, someone comes at you with this much violence, you respond back with this much violence. That's how fights are won. That's how wars are won. And I think it's important that we get back to that. And I think we're on track for that. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think the waterboarding issue is so much more complicated than what some of these goofs in Congress can bring up. I mean, the scenario I always bring on it. I'm not necessarily a big fan of torture. However, there's a huge however on that.
Yeah.
I put it on the level of this person knows where the nuke is, and he doesn't want to tell you.
Mm.
Okay, so now what do? You're just going to let it go off?
Right.
I mean, it's it's kind of one of those things where there's no one right answer to that entire thing.
No, I agree with you on that. But I think that saying that there is no option isn't the right way either. Right?
Yeah,
So
you gotta do something.
Well,
Yeah.
nothing's no option. That's why, it's kind of what, but they, keep in mind their whole purpose is to paint this as though there's going to be warehouses of people being waterboarded. I mean, so I mean, that's the image they want to create. And I think, you talk to a lot of people that serve too, they don't want to be involved in that kind of shit if they don't have to. I mean, it's
right.
I mean, it's one of those things where I think everybody's afraid of abuse. I mean, I do a whole course on police and, politics, and I talk about why certain case laws. I mean, like you would say, like just I'll give you an example, Tennessee versus Garner. What is that case about? Well, that's about shooting fleeing felons, right? Well, you'd say to yourself, well, geez, why would you, back in the day, you shot them. If they're running away and they're a fleeing felon and you believe you have a felon, you popped them. Well, that's unacceptable today, unless they're going to harm others. So why did they have to have a case like that? Well, probably because it was getting abused. So I mean, there's a yin and a yang to all this stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it's like some people say, well, why should they have to chase them? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not popping a person especially now, everything's a freaking felony. I mean, it's not like back in the day where it was robbery and it was murder and there was rape and sexual assault. I mean, they were clear-cut felonies now.
Right.
You do certain things. I mean, you're gonna shoot somebody running away that stole more than $5,000 or whatever the level is today for a felony larceny.
Right.
How do you live with yourself after doing that? I mean, it's not worth it. I mean, it's stuff.
Right.
But you don't know that a lot of times. So that's why I'm always cautious. I look at that through a different lens. Mike, I'm sure, does too, because of what we do for a living. So it's like it's never as clean cut as some of these yahoos are trying to make it in Congress. They're trying to say it's either black or it's white, and
right.
The world is freaking gray, man.
Well, that was part of this. There needs to be some discretion that these commanders and others can have to be able to make the right decision at the time and not have this is it and that's it.
Yeah,
and
you can't make a blanket statement on something like that. It's just not.
Right.
Yeah, shades of gray.
Yeah. And one of the other things that we've been talking about in our personal group chat between all of us is the hacking situation and quantum computing and so forth. And Ed, you sent over the content, the video that we've been watching, that we watched yesterday. You want to kind of hit that a little bit. Let's start off with people that are watching. And by the way, if you're joining us now on the live, type in the chat there in the comments, say hello, let us know where you're listening from or what platform you're on. We'd love to hear from you.
Oh yeah, we'll answer your questions. This one's interesting. This quantum compute, so back in the day when Mike and I worked together at the police department, we were in charge of the IT. And one of my mandates as the person leading that was this is back, 2008, Mike?
Yeah, back when horseback and the telegraph and
gerbils were running things. But anyways, so what we did is I had a rule that I wanted the police department completely segregated internally. There was nothing connected to the outside world. What we did have to connect, we did like, let's say, email. We segregated out our email system. So everything was hard separated from the outside world. Then we had what we called our PIG computers. in the detective bureau when they had to go and look into a case that they had to go on the internet, and they were on a separate line. Now, why did we do that? My biggest fear when I was in charge of that stuff was that the more connections you have to the internet outside of an official state connection, the more liable you are to have your system broken into, right? So, of course, I was called paranoid, over the top. You have your software folks and your hardware folks that go around you to tell the boss, well, if you did this and bought this hardware, you'd be fine. And a lot of people did that. And Mike and I would have these conversations in the office, and we would talk. And we talked, this quantum computing thing wasn't even a term back then. We thought, someday.
No, it was pie in the sky at that point.
Pie in the sky. We were when we were doing this, it was what was the one that was coming up, Mike, where it was oh crap, where you could use one server and they all combined in. Damn, the terms escape me now.
No, the virtual servers.
Virtual servers and stuff, right?
That was new then.
That was new. So, it used to be pizza pies, stack them up and each one had a purpose. I don't want to get too deep here and put people to freaking sleep, but the reality is the worry was somebody was going to break into these things. And now, of course, everything's connected no matter where you go. And we were worried that someday someone's going to figure out how to break the keys faster than they can come up with complicated keys. So I saw the Y files. WF has Hecklefish on it. Anybody who's watching this, watch the latest one on quantum that he has out for a video. It will scare you. The video talks about them breaking the hardest RSA encryption key that you can. Like, it should take you like 15 trillion years.
No, it should take you longer than we have, way
universe.
beyond the human race can exist.
Yep. So it's like to get that, you can't break it. And he went
properly deployed encryption. That was then.
Yeah. Well, and so that was then. So now the video's purpose is that they'll be able to break this stuff, they thought, in 2030. Now, I'm going to get into the consequences of that in a minute because that's a big deal. But the video says that they've already done it. Now, I went looking all over the place online after that video today,
Right.
and I can't find where they broke that super, super high standard that he mentioned in the however, and Mike will back me up on this, in December of 2024, Chinese researchers did manage to break an RS-40 encryption. And that's a pretty big deal because it's not a grand leap to get further. All they got to do is put more quantum computers in. So this is probably going to happen very, very soon is what I'm getting at. Just to break an RS, everybody's like, oh, it's only RSA-40. RSA-40 is freaking hard to break.
What's RSA-40 for people who don't understand what that is?
It's like the level of encryption. It's like the number of prime. Is it prime numbers, Mike, that are included?
I haven't played with it in so long.
Yeah, it's complicated usually, but the point of the matter is if they can break that, all they need is more computing power to break ones that are higher. So as you go higher up in numbers, they get exponentially more difficult. But if they're adding these computers on, now they're figuring out how to link these things all up. The Chinese seem to be figuring out quite well. Now, of course, people are saying, all right, this is all great, but what the freaking hell does this mean for me? Well, let me tell you, no password you have currently, I don't care what's been assigned to you, is safe. Everything gets broken into. So if it's online and it's in a records depository, it's going to get broken into. It's not if it's going to, it's when it's going to, because it's when somebody like Saren's Eye from Lord of the Rings aims it at that place where your files happen to be at, poof, they're gone. Then people are like, well, all right, well, you just still figure out a way. Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin. When Bitcoin halves, what do? They take Bitcoin and they create new, what is it, a hash symbols, Mike? They have to hash it out and mine it.
There's a hash value for it.
Yep, and it's this long algorithm. It takes you forever to mine it, tons of energy. I know because I've looked into this on the energy side. So what does that mean? Well, there will be no more halving for Bitcoin. Oh, and by the way, all those wallets that people own that are online, there's no encryption that's going to stop them from getting into that. So all those pass keys and codes and encrypted wallets, this stuff's going to blow by that. So
if they're going to do that, they're going to be in the banking system. They're going to be in everything.
I mean, I've said it for years. I know I'm an old curmudgeon. I guess now I'm starting to get there.
Well, the big thing was to make you have a password of greater than 8 characters, alphanumeric symbols,
Yep.
not something that was in a dictionary, no names, because they basically hackers or in people that want to crack these passwords, they've got databases of all the library databases with all the stuff with the hash values, so they can basically look at an encrypted password, and they already know what that would look like. So they just brute force it, or they just do a library attack, or whatever they're going to do with it.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
And,
like
and that's without quantum computing.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're already talking at for a RSA 2048, which is really up there for encryption. It's just shy of the highest one that I know of is 4096, I think. But they're saying that if they get the 20 million stable qubits in these quantum, they call them qubits, if they can get that many in there, which they're finding a way to link these things up now.
Yep.
They say it takes 8 hours to break that. 2048. So 8 hours. And so you got to figure if they get 40 million, it's 4 hours. If they triple that, it's an hour and change.
So this is the new threat that's a big concern. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, I mean this is scary stuff. I mean if they break into this, everybody's going to poo-poo it. The NSA at this point, what they said in the video, and from what I've been able to find, it seems to be true. They're not even planning on a way to out encrypt this anymore. They're figuring out already how do we manage this problem, which so it's bad if it's getting to that point.
Yeah.
And let's assume, like, I can't find anything that confirms what AJ had in his video on Y files is in fact they broke 4096. However, no one's going to tell you that they did that officially anyway. It's chaos if they do that. So you got to think to yourself, how do you protect yourself? Well, they're already saying that banks are taking computing systems and they're doing the reason why I started that story about the police department is they're doing exactly what Mike and I did back in 2008. They're isolating an internal non-Wi-Fi, non-internet connected computer systems in a safe. And then they're using paper transactions to input. You're almost back to the days where you're doing punch cards. I mean, it's kind of scary if you think about it.
Right.
And the other thing too is, and I'll leave it at this, is another reason why I'm a fan of, gold and silver, the 3 Gs, gold, guns, and ground.
No, it's funny. Like we tried like as much as we could to disconnect everything from the world. The reality is you can't 100% with most of our systems.
No, not anymore.
They need to reach out and touch the world for updates, and just exchange information, because otherwise you're doing sneaker net. You take it from one and like punch carding it into another, for lack of a better way to phrase it.
Yeah, we finally, by the time we all got promoted and out of the office, we were at the point where, Mike and I, we had the best we could do is probably a kill switch, because everything was licensing, right? You're not connected to the internet. Oh, sorry, your shit don't work no more. So it's not like people can avoid this. It's with your private files, buy a hard drive, and put your stuff on it.
Yeah. Don't trust the cloud.
It's just, I hate to say it, but it's scary.
I want to say hi to Jeff. Jeff is joining on, and Dusty's online, Carling, and Dennison.
Dusty.
Yeah, he's ready to go for camp. We were talking earlier. So
Nice.
So guys, thanks for jumping on. You guys mentioned you had a problem with X. With X, it's a little bit different than YouTube, and I know we've got a bunch of people on X watching us right now. If you just go over to the X platform, type in @T4 Survival, will bring you to our page, and the live should be appearing right there at the top of the feed. I checked. I was able to see it. David, you checked
likewise.
as well?
It's feeding it.
I don't think there's like a special link or spot on the page. You just go to the page and it's going to pop right up at the top.
Carmen's here.
Yeah, actually, when you sign into X, it's kind of nice. As long as you follow T4 Survival, it'll come up right when the feed is on. It's at the top of the page. So you just
want to say thank you to all of our new X followers that are with us. I created an X page, I don't know, back at 2012 or something like that. And again, one of those things kind of like Rumble. I never really used it. I did auto posting over to Twitter at the time and didn't really do anything with it. Well, December 27th really started hitting X heavily and supporting the open platform of not being censored and free speech. And we've got a couple thousand people just about following us now. So I really appreciate the loyalty and the support, everyone. If you're on X, feel free to say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're listening from or where you're watching us from. And of course, if you have any questions for any of us, please put them in the comments chat as well. We've got people over on YouTube as well. Same as usual for you guys over on YouTube. Just put it in the chat, and we'll answer your questions live. So quickly before we talk about camp, and before we actually even go to there, Ed, for people watching, what is the smartest thing they can do to overcome this threat of the quantum computing? You talked about a backup hard drive, but the reality is, and I want to hear you say it because we talked about it last night a little bit, what should people do to protect those things? What should they do?
The first thing you want to do, I mean, is keep in mind all your banking is vulnerable. So the only thing you have is your guarantees from the bank. As far as your personal stuff is concerned, probably an easier question to answer is go out and buy yourself one of those encrypted hard drives. I still have that IBM hard drive, Mike.
Yeah, you just get a storage drive.
Yeah,
you have everything backed up to it, and you disconnect it when you don't absolutely need it, or you're not doing an update to it, and you put it away.
Put it in a small Faraday bag.
The stuff that's critical, like your banking, everybody's going paperless. But if those systems get compromised and you've got no paper records approve what you have, how do what do you fall back on?
Right.
If they get attacked and they're compromised and their system gets wiped out because they're being held hostage. I mean, look at it. Like, as much as we did to protect the PD, before we retired and we were out of those positions, our website, the website that we have facing the world, was hacked by Turkey, a Turkish gang. I thought it was pretty funny because it wasn't my responsibility anymore. I giggled. They fixed it, but it still happened, and they still had and I know they had a decent password because the guy that took it over, he was, knowledgeable and he wasn't playing games, but he still was compromised.
Yeah, and they usually use a website as a backdoor to get into your home system. So I mean, it's this. You got to protect yourself. You get a hard drive, put it in a Faraday bag, and then once a quarter, it's not crazy stuff. Update it. If you're downloading like Mike said, if you're downloading your files from the bank on a PDF, it takes you only a second to do it. You update a folder. Most people aren't very organized. I've been in some disasters when it comes to people's hard drive.
Right. And I think one of the other things, keep in mind too, if things do go sideways and things are being wiped out, when they connect that hard drive to the computer, they should probably make sure they don't have any outside connections. Turn off your Wi-Fi, make sure there's no Ethernet connected, right? Because as soon as
here's the reality, guys. If it's that bad and we're that worried, we have a much bigger problems than your backup of your photos.
Yeah,
or your PDF bank statements. If it's that bad and we're that worried about connecting anything to the internet or all your data is compromised, is a much bigger problem.
Yeah,
you're coming up with basically
beyond worried about your computer's integrity.
Yeah, Mike's right. It's like if you're at that point, you got to figure the banks are in trouble, right? So that's going to cause its own form of chaos.
Yeah,
you have all your personal stuff. It's almost like your hard drive is like your own personal electronic go bag.
Right.
Of, oh God, at least I didn't lose this stuff. But these people that post things, like they go to dating sites or they post photos, that stuff's all going to get out there. I mean, it's like you just try to find a way to delete what you don't need. I'm not a big fan of online anyways. I mean, I do this, and I have X, but I'm not on Facebook. I took down my LinkedIn. I'm not, I just like to stay informed, but I don't want to really, post anything much because
limit it.
I see what's coming. I mean, you could be, freaking Ray Charles. You can see what's coming. They're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
They're going to figure it out. If you don't think they're going to figure it out, well, you live in that world, but
gold, silver, cash on hand.
I'm telling you, I've been talking about this for a long time. If you got to have, I mean, I'm no financial advisor, but I know one thing, gold and silver ain't going to lose their value. I mean, if you had a choice between storing, $50,000 in a savings account and buying $50,000 worth of gold, I probably would lean towards buying the gold if you're not going to spend it. I mean, that's the key. I mean, if you're putting it in there and it's lunch money, well, that's different. But if you're putting it in and it's truly savings, well, I would throw it into something hard. It ain't going. There's no counterparty risk. The only counterparty risk is you losing it.
Right. Yeah,
mean,
and
that's-
don't put it in the bank in a safe deposit box, right?
No, they can seize that. I mean, I've done charts on all that stuff. When I was researching American Calamity, like that little plug.
Yeah. that was good.
When I was researching American Calamity, I had thanks, Jamie. I know what you're gonna do. That's nice. So, anyways, I did a whole thing on that. And if they were to get rid of all debt, they were just talking about it today on Monaco 64. They would have to value gold at $140,000 an ounce to wipe out all debt. Yeah, it's fact. With all American gold that's in Fort Knox. Just put that in perspective for a minute. And they said at the minimum, if they did 40%, it'd be about 40 or 50 grand an ounce. And Bitcoin, try to imagine if this happens to Bitcoin and the American government decides somehow that they're going to get involved in Bitcoin. They are able to clear away just you know how I am with fiction stuff. So this is just something that could be a plot. They get all this stuff with Bitcoin. They get Bitcoin to the point where it pays off most of the debt because Bitcoin goes through the roof. And then they figure out the passwords to all the Bitcoin and it drops to zero, but America already cleared its debt. It'd be one of the biggest thefts in human history.
Wow.
I mean, just think about it. I mean, and then you say, oh yeah, and by the way, think about it. All your central banks are hoarding gold. They're all hoarding gold. They're not hoarding Bitcoin. They're all hoarding gold. They're buying gold in record amounts. But look over here at our ETFs for Bitcoin, folks. Buy some of these. A little bit of Ripple. Well, what about gold? Oh, you don't want any of that. You don't want to buy any of that. Well, why is that? I mean, things are just like Arsenio Hall. Things that make you go,
I'm saying a lot of that during this conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right. Well,
my blabbering.
yeah, if you have questions, guys, on anything that we're talking about now, please put them in the chat, the comments, and we'll answer them live. Or if you just want to give us some feedback on what you're listening to, and make sure to hit the like button on the platforms that you're watching us from. That helps us obviously with the algorithm and getting out there. So, David, Staccato.
Oh,
Let's go for
Yeah.
it. Let's hit that, and then we're going to talk
All
about
right.
camp.
sounds good. All right. Well, everybody knows I love my Staccato P.
So, what's the
Fantastic.
big deal about a Staccato?
So it's a 2011. So it's basically a 1911 platform per se, but it's a double stack. Solid gun. Thing shoots amazing. It's like It's like butter. But interesting part, they just released a new version, which is called the Staccato HD P4, which I do need to get. And interesting that it now will accept Glock 17 mags. So a lot of I should say a lot. Well, yeah, so it has it's got some upgrades to it. They've improved the recoil system in it.
Can you hold the weapon up again, because we
Yeah,
can
this is
on
not
X
this is not
and
it.
on Rumble.
This is not the exact. This is the P.
No, that's the one that's
yeah.
the
So the
old
one that actually just came out is the HDP4. So it's different ergonomics, accepts Glock mags.
Yeah, but what's the MSRP on that new gun?
25.
So I'm gonna stick with my Glock because I'm poor.
Now you should pick one up. I think you'll like it. But a lot of these
Oh, I
guys.
shot yours. I know I would like it.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
A
Yeah,
lot of
no,
these companies have these 2011s are going. There's quite a few of them that accept the Glock bags. Because Glock's, the most prominent gun out there, and why not get on the bandwagon? But it looks fantastic. Just look it up, staccato.com.
You can have it for the May camp.
Staccato2011.com.
You can have
What's
the
that?
new one for May camp to show off.
Maybe we'll see. Very possible.
Even more incentive to come up and join us in May, so you can
Yeah.
use his old Staccato, because he lets everyone use it and
no,
shoot it.
Staccato wants to sponsor camp. I'll exclusively shoot their gun.
There you go.
I'm sure we will all be happy to shoot their gun all the
I'm
time.
not too proud. I'll do it.
Shameless.
Yeah. So 128, it will be available if you guys want to check it out.
Funny how quickly Glock drops, huh, Mike?
Well, if Glock wants to give me the new gun they came out with, I'll shoot theirs.
Oh,
instead of-
yeah.
I won't leave.
Yeah, Linda brought that to my attention this past week too. That 43X, is that what you're talking about, or the
Yeah.
other one?
Oh, the one that you talk about, the one that somebody asked you about this week?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually really nice too. The Glock 43X. They have it with a new red dot. Got them drawing a blank. God, I forgot what it
point?
was. Aim
Aimpoint.
Yeah, aim point.
Yep.
So it's a whole combo kit. I think the MSRP is a little over 1,000, but really solid close emitter. Great gun.
MSRP is
solid.
over 1,000, but it looks like it's going to be around 750, 800, right?
I can't confirm that. I haven't had a chance to look it up. It's very possible somewhere around there, but great package. Great
Yeah.
package.
Okay. You guys are watching on X and YouTube. Let us know what you carry. Are you a Glock person, staccato, SIG,
Other.
other?
C camp.
Yeah, it's
Everybody
Cal
laughs
Tech.
at my little cricket gun. Everybody laughs at my little cricket.
Yeah, dude, that's a solid little piece, the little 32. I mean, it's a micro pocket gun.
Love that gun. I've got mine.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
It's a
That's
great.
my.
If you
yeah,
can
that's
find
my-
one, it's a great buy.
Yeah,
For like
yeah.
800
Got to
or
get the
900
old
bucks.
ones though.
Yeah,
the
the
old
original.
ones.
Yep.
Yep.
Hard to find.
So let's talk a little bit about camp. We're pretty excited about
It's a
this.
good question. How do you spell staccato? It's GLO.
CK. This is so
Is that
true.
the poor man spelling?
You
I
see
thought
what
it
Dusty
was
put in here?
SIG.
Dusty goes, "You guys are expensive friends to have."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God! Yes,
We're gonna have a spelling class, Dusty, when we come up too.
There's no.
Canic. I'm with him on that.
That's-
I've shot a Canic.
Can't it? Yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah, we
they're
know.
nice. They're nice.
Yeah.
I shot one of them. They're sweet. I've got a guy at the
No,
range.
they are nice. It's a nice little package for
They're good.
out of the box, ready to go.
Yeah, they're
They
nice.
do a nice package, yeah, and a reasonable
Great
price.
price. Yeah, great price. Great gun. Accurate as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got Dusty. What he shot his at like 200 feet or something like that,
200 feet.
right?
Wow.
Okay.
This is a tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Wow.
I know.
I mean, there is just.
What was it, Dusty? Tell us.
Dusty hit that target from 2 feet away like it was nothing.
All right.
Yeah,
I
he was
gave-
right
I
on that.
I added a couple
Full
zeros.
shade on Dusty, my man Dusty. Why?
Oh, we
We
love
see what this
Dusty.
man is capable of
Yeah,
at long distances.
Oh man.
yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about camp. So those of you who are looking to attend, and we're more than halfway filled already for the May camp. It's happening May 14th through the 17th up here on Moosehead Lake, and it's going to be starting on Wednesday at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're going to be working Rifle 101 on one range, and then the other range is going to be working handgun basic and foundational skills. Even if you've been training with us for multiple camps, everyone starts off in that refresher just to kind of get the dust off and make sure everyone's moving properly. If you're new to camp, you've never attended with us, or you're a new shooter, there's multiple instructors on the range, and we make sure that you're feeling extremely comfortable before you move into the following days of training. So that first day is really orientation for new shooters and new gun owners. And for those who have been with us for a while, kind of brushing off the dust a little bit and taking you through drills to get you moving and shooting to take you through the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Don't be shy. Come on out.
So Thursday, and we talk about this all the time, but people seem to look at the camp and say, "Oh my God, it's so advanced. It's too advanced for me."
Yeah.
Really, Mike and I, 2016 or so, Mike, I don't remember when it was. We talked about putting this camp. It was just a brainstorm at the time. It was for new shooters. It was for people that didn't have a firearm or just got their firearm or had a firearm inside their house for a couple of years and they really never shot it, or they went out to the range once or twice. And this was to build up their confidence, to carry full time, to be able to deploy that weapon properly and protect themselves and their loved ones. And since we started, the first camp was 2018. Since 2018, except for during the pandemic where we had to cancel a couple camps, we've sold out every single camp. And we have return camp attendees every camp as well. And those people are a little bit more experienced, and they're getting everything they want to out of the camp and expanding their skill set. And we have these new shooters. So if you're watching this on X or YouTube, you've been thinking about coming and you're kind of hesitating, all I can say is don't hesitate anymore. Contact us and get to camp. It's a life-changing event to be able to be immersed.
New shooter experienced and been shooting a long time. Several days of high volume shooting, it makes a world of difference. I mean,
Right.
you don't shoot that much, and then you're shooting with other shooters, different skill levels, and sometimes a couple of us will want to get on the line and we'll do a race against steel or whatever. It benefits everybody. Even the instructors get benefit out of it. So I mean, trigger time's great, especially when you can do different things. Drawn from the holster, changing your shooting position as you're shooting. I mean, you don't get to do that at regular ranges. They don't want you drawn from the holster. They don't want you kneeling. They don't want you changing your position. They want you moving around. It's now we do a lot of dynamic exercises and it's a very dynamic scene. but we have a lot of safety. There's a lot of eyes, a lot of instructors, a lot of people, and everybody there can call ceasefire. So it's not just us that is watching out for safety, but that is like a number one concern.
Absolutely.
Everybody there has got eyes on.
Yeah.
So we're able to do these kind of things because we don't have gigantic groups. We have a high student to instructor ratio, and the people there are serious. The people that we have a good time, but people coming to this camp and the people here teaching at this camp, we have a goal, and the goal is to get you proficient and make you feel confident and show you that you don't have to be a high level shooter to walk out and enjoy yourself and learn something from this.
Right.
It is deceiving. You think this camp is for operators. Okay. We're not operators, guys. We've been shooting for a very long time. We've got a skill set, and we want to help share it and help you build up yours.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the operator thing, like Mike said, and Mike will remember me saying this. When I was on the SWAT team as a sniper, I used to say to them all the time, I go, guys, you're not a SEAL team. Don't act like you are. You know what I mean? I've met those guys. You know what I mean? We're not. None of us out there are like that, and that's one of the things I enjoy about. That's why I keep coming back and doing the instructing. I enjoy it.
We know it's for the campfire, but that's a whole other conversation.
That's the reason I go. Cigars at the campfire. What else am I going?
No, but I mean, it's nice. Like this last time on the precision line, the people I was shooting with on the precision line, I'm not beyond learning things. I mean, a lot of the folks I'm used to shooting with a normal rifle system or a standardized rifle system. Let me put it that way. I had people out there with a whole bunch of different rifle systems. I was learning that barrel adjustment for some shooters was occurring much earlier than Mike and I have experienced. And we had on the fly. Mike and I had to say, well, "Holy crap! They've got to start adjusting for barrel correction," and learning from that. And as an instructor, I learn just as much from the students than maybe I'm giving them sometimes, because they're all very well put together when they show up to the range. And then, you know what the best part is about camp? They leave with just a little bit more knowledge and what they need more. Because a lot of times you come into this, and I'm sure David deals with this all the time with purchases. People think they know what they want when they get it until they try it.
Right.
And they realize, oh, you know what? That's maybe not the right kind. That wasn't the right piece of equipment for me.
Yeah.
And
you
you get
all the time.
All the time. It's even like, like holster choices and things like that. There's some people want to carry appendix. I don't, but that doesn't mean it's not the right solution for somebody else. But you'll never know if you don't try those things. And there's only a few places you can do it. And this camp happens to be one of them.
Right.
It's huge.
It's something we really kind of noticed last camp. We had a couple students with some mobility issues. Some they couldn't get prone because of their the limitations. Can't get up and down very easily. We adjusted. For one of our shooters, they bought a portable shooting table, and I was jealous. I wanted to use it because it was actually kind of cool. Hey, if you don't have to lay in the dirt, I'm not going to lay in the dirt. But they got a lot out of it. They still were able to take part. There's always a way to adjust.
Yeah.
And the reality is, your limitations are what they are, and you have to train for them.
Right.
So if somebody just turn around saying, "Oh, I can't lay like that. I'm not doing it at all." Yeah, but you can sit. We can have you stand up,
adapt,
build a platform if we have to. We've done these things.
Right.
So
do it all the time.
The willingness. If you have the willingness, we'll find a way.
Absolutely.
That's right. Yeah, and we did.
Yeah,
we did. We learned a lot, But when I say we learned a lot, we had a great course of fire. But as we were moving, I know as far as the precision rifle side was concerned, it was nice. It was fun because everybody you could see the light bulbs kicking on. Like, oh, I never really experienced that before.
Right. And that's what it's all about. Like you said, there's stuff we can do at our private range that you can't do at a normal range, and the dynamic moving and the shooting and verbalization drills and team building drills. I mean, it's phenomenal. And it's all like-minded people that are there with the same purpose in mind, same mindset. And
great group. I mean, the people that show up at these camps are phenomenal people.
And one of the big things, two things I hear from clients. Number one, they're like, I thought I was going to the end of the world trying to travel here, right? Because it's the drive is a long drive. We're way up in northern Maine, but once you get up here and you experience 24 hours, and one of the biggest ones I remember is Jeff. Jeff first came up for the camp. He goes, "Oh my God, it was such a long drive. Holy cow." And he did that full day of training. And that night he walks up to me, pulls me to the side. He goes, I get it now. I get it. You know, you're in this serene place, beautiful forest,
gorgeous.
beautiful lake, you know, rustic cabins and campfire,
lodge.
and the lodge and the staff that's at, you know, our beck and call, basically. They
Birches
open up
are
for
great.
us. And
great.
and then the firearm training that you can't get anywhere else. It's a whole experience, you know. It's you're investing into yourself when you're paying this money to be able to attend camp, be away from everything else and the rest of the wildness that's going on in the world or wherever you're coming from, and being able to immerse yourself in days of training with us. And then the camaraderie. That's the other thing I hear is, oh my God, I've made new friends and I'm looking forward to seeing them at the next camp and working through these drills again. Most camp attendees we see twice a year. And
It's funny, Jamie, something that people don't really realize until you're there.
it's,
Most people don't know what it's like not to hear traffic, not to hear the highway,
no sirens.
not to hear sirens, not to just, it's nothing. I mean, you hear there was a river otter swimming around by the campfire.
Yep.
We're like, what the heck was that? I mean, there's no other noise. We heard it. You know, we heard
Loons.
a little noise. The loon. We're just having it.
Yeah.
Just not hearing the
It's a
highway.
peaceful.
Stop this. Stop it, Ed.
It's so different.
Well, I haven't said anything. I haven't said anything.
I'm the one who ruined that for you. That was me.
So anyway, it's very tranquil.
You
It's
can
a
find out
beautiful
what we're
place.
talking about when you attend the next camp.
Yes, absolutely. And then after we're done with our day of training, we head back to the lodge and we have dinner, and then we get the campfire going and we smoke some cigars and we talk a little bit. And those were some really interesting and great conversations happen. And you get to ask us questions, things you probably maybe don't want to ask us here on these platforms, or you want to kind of dig in a little bit to some things that are on your mind, and allows us to kind of have those open dialogues and conversations, which is fantastic. So I know we're running short in time. Let's move on quickly to Thursday. So we talked about Wednesday. Wednesday's Rifle 101 on one range, and then we're going to have orientation and handgun on the other. And then on Thursday's a full day of precision rifle one.
Right? Yep.
Yep. And on the other range, it's going to be defensive handgun on the other range. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Precision One, if you could, Ed, and tell us what's going to happen and who that is for. Can anyone just sign up for Precision One? Do you need to be qualified? What are those qualifications to be able to go on to Rifle One? And if you meet these qualifications, you need to message us and we need to have a conversation and see if we can get you involved for Precision Rifle One. Take it away, Ed.
Well, you want equipment at 100 yards. You want to be shooting a 1-inch group, preferably, you know, or you're going to get frustrated because we're going to go all the way out. I think in Precision One this time to get everybody ready for Precision Two that want to move on. We're going to be shooting out to about 400 plus, and we'll be developing a dope book. But you got to have the equipment and you got to have the skill. You got to be honest with yourself. You can't lie to yourself or God, right? So you got to be honest with yourself and your capability. Precision rifle. My biggest fear with precision rifle is I don't want the students to get frustrated because we're literally running you through the same program that Mike and I would do before we competed internationally and nationally. It's to develop our dope books. And we get into that pretty heavy. So if it's you really want to learn your rifle system, we'll show you. You know, you'll learn a lot about your rifle system, but you have to let Jamie know, you know, and I had a bunch last year. Some of them I think are getting new equipment, I believe.
Great. Yep.
And based on what they learned at Precision last year, well, we called it Technician, but this year will be Precision. And they're going to come back out and you'll develop that dope book. And then it's like you build off of that. And this is what we're trying to do is create that foundation. We're going to have a little bit more efficiency getting out to the targets this time. We got to talk about that, how we're going to do that, Jamie.
Yep. I already got some stuff lined up
It was,
for that.
it was a nice time, but 21 miles in 2.5 days was a lot of walking.
Well, it's like, you know, they learned their pace count though. There was,
Yeah.
we tried making value out of it because, and we still will do that. The first few targets we check, we will walk down to develop a pace count. But it's at the same time, you know, so like when they're down the road, somebody wants to go and, you know, do land nav, you know, I made sure everybody got beads that, you know, for counting beads, ranger beads, they call them. And they all walked away with those. And now they know their pace count, which is really valuable, you know. And
So something to kind of point out for the rifle, at least rifle, the pistol is a little easier to work with, but have a dedicated system you want to use.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring 3 rifles because I want to see how it goes is not the way to do it.
No.
Pick the platform you best work with, or that you have set up the way you want it to be, and then you start off. You don't switch halfway through the day. It's gonna defeat a lot of the work you've already done, because you're not going to be able to take that dope book and throw it to. Yeah, we all wore the beads out that day.
Yeah.
So you're going to defeat all the work you've done. You're not going to take that dope book and throw it on another weapon with a different caliber, different optic on there. It's going to be completely different.
Yeah,
You marry it. You marry it to that gun. And don't forget too, we're going to have a time where people can sight in and get their basics down. But the goal here is
you can repeat the process at another time for the separate weapon.
right.
But it's not the time to do multiple guns there.
Yeah, your dope book gets married, and we go over a lot of stuff too when we talk about canting and all that other stuff. I didn't get into angle shooting last time. This time we're not going to do angle shooting, but I want to make people aware of it, on how to do it. And someday maybe we will do angle shooting. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we do some hen's eggs, Mike, like we did in Austria or Budapest. But bottom line is there's the value to that's huge. And the line I had with Mike last time was, we had a good time. We had a good group.
Yeah, they really enjoyed it. Got a lot out of it. So this time on Friday, so Thursday we have Precision Rifle 1. We're going to be running a defensive handgun on the other range, David and I. Then on Friday, we're going to be running the continuation of defensive handgun on our range, but Precision Rifle 2.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So a little bit longer range, and then we're going to I'm going to run them all. They're going to go through the Warhammer, which was my favorite course of fire and it's going to take all the skills that they developed through Precision 1 and 2 to this actual. They'll be running and gunning, so to speak, with their dope
awesome.
book. Yeah, and we bought special targets to simulate what we had within reason. I want to keep it safe, but I want to make it where when they finish this thing, they can say, "Holy crap! I actually finished this, and I did well." Because we'll grade it. You know what I mean? It'll be graded, and I say graded, but you know what I mean. It's more of a self grade more than anything else. But you'll walk away knowing, like, okay, I got a bone up on this, and it's not going to be just a one and done either. It'll be several times. But the Warhammer will be that was my favorite course of fire of all the ones I've ever done in my lifetime shooting competitive sniping. That was by far for me. That it was fun. And it's not a long one either. It starts out at like 300 meters or 300 yards, and you work you take your last shot at 25. So it's not what you think.
Wow.
It's not what you think.
Well, I know we have a lot of people really excited about it that have signed up already for the Precision 2 or signed up for camp to come back. And a majority of them are doing 1 again.
Right.
To work through that and then moving on to 2.
Yeah, smart, because a lot of them finished last time. And, some of them had really nice systems, and they were pretty PO'd at, the way their system was operating. A lot of the ones, it's kind of funny. It's like a lot of folks had the 6.5 Creedmoor.
Right.
That's the big thing everybody wants. But, it's hard to beat 308. That thing is, and the worst thing is Mike and I know 308, really, really well. So it's like, we know all the ins and outs. From shooting, but 6.5, it's still experimental. It is. It's just like, because every platform's a little different. Everybody has a different barrel twist. It seemed like, different lengths of barrel. We had one guy who was, dead on. God, he was really good, but he was adjusting for barrel drift relatively early. It didn't matter. His system was phenomenal. He had his pretty wired down, but there's other guys that had them. They paid a lot of money for those systems, and they were having a hard time getting their groups to group. So that was a great experience for people that were on the line. There's a couple of them there that I know. I think Dusty is getting I think he's spending like 5 G's on a rifle or something.
Hear this, Dusty? He's pushing you.
Dusty's got the skill. Him and his brother both. They were very, very good. They just, if they had the system that they needed, they would have been very, very happy with their results. They're very good shooters.
Yeah. So that's going to be happening on Friday with Precision 2. We're going to be taking everyone through Defensive Handgun Part 2 on Friday. Then on Saturday morning is what we're bringing back the Beast. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically taking everything you've learned throughout throughout camp and putting it to the test on that final day and taking through some pretty dynamic and fun drills. And if you're a new shooter and like, oh my God, that scares the heck out of me, don't worry. We're going to make sure that you're being safe, number one, and two, that your portion of the Beast is to your qualifications of where we think you're at. Right. So people that have been training with us a little bit more advanced in their shooting skills and their skill set might have a little bit more of an advanced Beast version than someone that might be newer in the program.
The reality, though, by the time this is over and you're at the Beast, even our new shooters are like, I'm doing it, because they feel confident in what they've learned.
Oh, absolutely.
And how they're handling the weapon. And we had nobody that I can recall that said, I'm not doing it. I don't feel comfortable.
Right.
Everybody at least tried it, and they did very well. And I think people were very surprised in themselves, but they found that confidence.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
You know,
And,
when they finish your pistol course, by the way, your students are getting almost more holster time than the minimum training that police officers get in Connecticut.
so what is the minimum amount of rounds that through the academy right now? Do you know?
I don't know, but just a qualification course is 60 rounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
So-
most times, because with budgets and everything else, even when ammo was available, I think you were seeing, like, I was hearing, and I didn't really see it. I was lucky I didn't work for those agencies, but they'd show up, they'd shoot 60 rounds. That was it.
That's it.
And you guys are just shooting at paper targets, right? There's no movement involved.
You have to go to
Going to a
the
knee and leaning out around a barricade.
yeah. It's kneeling.
Nothing really dynamic like we do, right?
Yeah, minimal.
No.
I still qualify once a year for my Leoso card and for nationwide, and I go through the course every year, and it's like it's nothing's changed. 2 shots at 25 yards, that's it, and then you move down to 15 and in, and that's so it's not. I mean, what you guys are doing at camp with the pistol, I actually participated in my first camp with you guys on the pistol line and what you do, and you're doing stuff that's they don't do that in your typical police stuff. Holster time is important. I don't think people fully realize it's so hard to get live fire holster time with a pistol.
Right.
That's what I love. I was listening to you guys when I was doing precision rifle. You guys were doing that trail. Kind of jealous in a way. I was a little jelly.
You can come over next time.
I
Let's
got
come.
it.
You
I
can
have
spend
to
some
come
time
over.
with us.
I will.
We'd
Well,
have to run it on lunch when they're all at lunch. We'll have to run that.
There you
line.
go. There you
yeah,
go.
I that's one thing I missed not doing at the last camp because we were fully engaged on.
Yeah, you guys were pretty busy. So
Yeah. And we both.
Well, I realized I think I only shot 50 rounds, 30 rounds, not even 30 rounds in my rifle, and the
20.
rest was pistol, and that's it. And I've never ever gone to camp and shot so little.
Yeah,
Actually, I was sad.
I only fired 20 rounds through my Winchester.
Wow. We got to fix that for this time around. We're oh yeah, Dusty put in here. I feel awful forgetting her name, but remember the woman
Yeah,
Big
that's
Jim brought
Michael.
to camp. Yeah, Michael.
pretty
Yep.
horrible, Dusty.
She's upset now.
Yeah.
But just amazing experiences all the way around. And real cool thing we're going to be doing for this camp is that Saturday around noontime, we're done with camp. We're going to break everything down at the range, and then we're going to spend an extra day just at the Birches and light some cigars, sit around the campfire, talk a little bit for the afternoon. So a lot of the camp attendees are going to stay till Sunday to hang out with us for the afternoon and Saturday evening, and then take off and depart on Sunday morning. It's not mandatory. If you have a flight to catch, we have some attendees that are going to leave Saturday after we finish with the Beast, load in their car and drive down to the airport and be ready to take their flight out. But if you'd like to stay with us for an extra day, we'd love to have you. And you could depart on Sunday morning and spend some one more night sitting around the campfire and relaxing and decompressing and talking about the week of training. So, guys, anything else you want to add in?
No,
No? Okay. Well,
long enough.
yeah, we've been on for a while. But if you have questions for us, you're watching this replay, whether it's on YouTube or X or even Rumble, feel free to message us through our social media platforms or type in type in the comments. I think on X, this is a first live stream we really kind of focused on X. I'm not sure how it's going to work after we come off. If you could still type in the comments or chat, I hope you can. So if you type something in, we'll get the notification and we'll get back to you. Yeah, we'll get some film. We'll get some film footage for this time around as well.
You have a qualified member of your
Yeah.
family that is very, very capable of performing that duty.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get that done. But if you have questions regarding CAP, message us. We're going to come back on in a couple weeks and do another live stream and working on our content for that. We're going to be signing off in about a minute. So if you have any questions for us, type them in the comments now. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like button. Make sure to repost and share this as well on the platform and help get the word out. Really appreciate everyone's support. And please, if you aren't following us on X yet and you're watching us on the YouTube, please head over to X. It's at T4 Survival is our handle. And make sure that you follow us there. We're putting 110% into going over to the X platform now. So we appreciate your support. So I think that's it, gentlemen. We're going to be signing off. We've got only a few more days until the new administration is coming in. We're excited about that. Keep your head on a swivel for the next 5 days. And even after this new administration comes in with the laws that they're putting into place and the things they're going to be looking to get done immediately, I think it's going to be important for everyone to be vigilant and make sure that you keep your head on a swivel and be aware where you are and travel safely. Keep your family safe, right?
Sean Ryan has
Absolutely.
a new podcast out. Suggest everybody watches it. Another
Absolutely.
one of those. Yeah.
Big fan. Sarah Adams is one that we highly recommend that you follow along on X and listen to her and follow what she has for content. And Sean Ryan is another one.
He interviews a lady called Jane Doe because she's so embedded. I started watching it just before I came on this tonight. I just highly recommend people.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. It's on my playlist. I might watch that for the drive out of my office back to my house. So we'll see. Guys, thanks for joining us. We're great that everyone on X has been following us and has been watching us for this stream and on YouTube as well. Thanks again, everyone, for your support. We'll see you back here in a couple weeks. Keep an eye on the social media platforms and when we'll be back on. Head over to our website, t4survival.com. Sign up to get notifications on different training events and things we'll have upcoming. And you can also become a member of our site and get access to some behind-the-scenes footage and videos and content that we put there as well. So without anything else you guys want to add, we're good?
That's good.
All right.
Have
Well,
a
we're
good
going to
evening.
call it night, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you back here in a couple weeks. Be safe and